Jelly Beans. This is Jewelry Jelly here with a new friend. So, I don't know if you saw the news, but Build-A-Bear is doing a Riolu plush that is available online. And my birthday and Christmas gift arrived early. So, this is Leo. It's spelled L-I-O. And he comes with the official sound chip. So I'm going to play him a little bit. I'm wondering if this is the Japanese voice actor for this, because I know that they actually got Sungwon Cho to play the voice for Munchlax at Build-A-Bear. Alright, just plugging in the light here. So I hope everybody is doing okay. I am alright here. Fairly uneventful weekend. I decided on Saturday night I was just going to sit at home and just read a good book instead of streaming. But I will be streaming this Saturday night, mostly because I am going to be skipping Thursday for Thanksgiving. We are going to be having dinner here and then going to my parents' house for dessert. And we'll be probably watching either the parade or we'll be watching the Turkey Day Marathon. I hope that we'll possibly get some news as to what's going to happen to the future of a Mystery Science Theater 3000. Alright, so, just to fill you in on what happened last time, Tyrion and Celeste went to Tyrion's hometown for a chess tournament and met up with Tyrion's old friend who works at a cafe. And she was told that a friend of hers had fallen into a vat of chemicals at a local refinery and was sadly killed. So now Tyrion is representing the owner of the refinery in court. And while they were doing their investigating, they went by Tyrion's old home and saw some youths that had been the friends of the poor victim throwing rocks at it. Tyrion was very upset, but then they pushed Celeste's berserk button. Do not call her little, do not call her small. She will effing kill you. Anyways, we have come to court, and here is Arya Steelwind with her nipples. I can't believe this. I have more important things to do than resolve your petty squabbles for you. Yes, the missing ship of your betrothed. Listen, the sooner you help me resolve this mess with Dracogen, the sooner you can return to being the prince's lapdog. That is the face of somebody that wants to commit murder. That is to say, once I am not preoccupied with this case, House Von Sanctus can provide the resources that you and the Inquisition need. I suppose I don't have a choice, do I? Well, at least this case should be relatively straightforward. Oh, we can save again. Oh, I could have just ended things off there. Court is now in session for the trial of Stefanik Dracogen. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is also ready. Very well, let's begin the proceedings. Prosecutor Steelwind, please list the charges. The defendant is charged with criminal negligence in the death of Justin Way. The death occurred at the Oranax Arcane refinery last night. Mr. Way was an employee of the Dracogen Trading Company, a company owned by the defendant. During work hours, the victim accidentally broke a poorly maintained safety rail and fell into a vat of corrosive chemicals. Attempts to save his life failed, and his body almost fully dissolved. I see. What a gruesome end. The defendant displayed clear negligence in maintaining the refinery's facilities. As such, the responsibility for Mr. Way's death falls squarely on his shoulders. To begin, the prosecution would like to call Noah Morrison to the stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the court. Yes, the name's Noah Morrison. I'm the harbor master of Oranax's harbor. It's my understanding that you witnessed the accident that night. Am I correct? I did. Could you please testify to the court about what you witnessed? Alright, we're getting into testimony. I was showing a visitor around the city, and for some reason, he really wanted to see the Oranax Arcane refinery. He was inspecting the machines there, when, suddenly, Mosarika ran up to us. She was desperately trying to tell us something, but there was just too much noise. After a while, she just pointed at the walkway overlooking the refinery. That's where we saw someone fall into that accursed vat. There was a guardrail that should have prevented him from falling, but he broke through it as he fell. So, there was a safety rail that should have protected the victim. Yes. However, upon closer inspection, the city guard found that the rails were extremely rusted. They were clearly poorly maintained by the company. I see. This negligence is the basis of the prosecution's charges. Are you going to present the traces of transmutation that we found? I can't help but feel like there's something in Morrison's testimony that doesn't add up. Right now, those traces are the only defense we have against von Sanctus's accusations. It's not a piece that I want to use just yet. And once you use that piece, who knows how the judge will react. Not much has changed with Morrison's testimony. However, you've collected a lot more evidence since you last spoke to him. Is there anything you found that contradicts his testimony? Okay. You mentioned that you saw someone fall into the vat. Did you not recognize the person? Well, I didn't know the lad personally, and it was pretty far away. I couldn't get a good look at the person. Maybe you should keep a pin on that detail. Anyways, could you go into more detail about the moment you witnessed the accident? Of course. What did you want to know about? What happened to the guardrail before Justin fell? What was Mosarika doing? What was Aster doing? Was the guardrail extremely rusted before it broke? Let's see. What happened to the guardrail before Justin fell? Well, I saw him lean on it. It should have prevented him from falling off of the walkway. But the rail just broke the instant he put his weight on it. That's how he fell into the vat. I see. Could you please include that detail in your testimony? If you think it'll help. Okay, what was Mosarika doing? What was Mosarika doing the moment you saw Justin fall? I told you, didn't I? She was the one who pointed to the walkway in the first place. That's how we saw Justin fall. I see. Could you please include that detail in your testimony? If you think it'll help. So, Rika was the one who brought your attention to the walkway. Yeah, if it weren't for her, we wouldn't have seen Justin fall. I see. Not much has changed about Morrison's account of events. With the new evidence that you've collected, however, there might be a detail that doesn't match with his testimony. You just need to re-examine everything you've learned since you spoke with him. Okay. After seeing him fall, she tried to get the attention. That's inconsistent.
Objection!
Oop.
Objection!
Wait, what? Witness, you said that you saw the victim fall into the vat. Did this happen before, during, or after Mosarika tried to get your attention? Hello to MJD and Dr. Zadium. How are you doing tonight? It was definitely after. If it weren't for the commotion she made, I wouldn't have looked up there in the first place. It's just as you thought, but what does this mean? Morrison, I spoke with Mosarika about what she saw. She said that she saw Justin fall off of the walkway and then rush to you for help. Aye, that sounds about right. No, Morrison, it actually doesn't. What do you mean? If Mosarika saw Justin fall before she went to get help, then how did you see him fall after she came to you for help? What? Morrison, Mosarika came to you for help. This was in reaction to seeing Justin fall off of the walkway. If that's true, then how could you have possibly seen Justin fall off of the walkway again afterward? I have no idea. Mr. Cuthbert, you're disputing the witness's testimony over a minor detail. It's entirely possible that Mr. Morrison or Miss Tudor simply misremembered. I highly doubt that Morrison misremembered the order of what happened. His testimony matches up exactly with the testimony of his companion. Then Ms. Tudor must be the one who's mistaken. I'm compelled to agree with Ms. Steelwind. These conflicting accounts seem extremely minor. The prosecution's case is based on the broken guardrail, and only 3 individuals witnessed Justin Way break said guardrail. The defense asserts that these 3 witness accounts must be consistent with each other. Otherwise, this evidence is not strong enough to find my client liable. Please, the break in the guardrail is directly over the vat. That is enough physical evidence. It proves that the victim fell in because the railing broke. How do we know that the guardrail wasn't broken by some other event? That's ludicrous. You're clearly just playing devil's advocate. I'll admit that I also find the defense's assertion dubious. However, I see no harm in allowing Ms. Tudor to testify to what she saw. Rika saw a lot less than Morrison and Astor did, and her testimony was a lot less detailed. But the one detail she did remember was that she saw Justin fall off of the walkway. Hopefully, her testimony might clear up what happened. Bailiff, please escort Ms. Tudor to the witness stand. Witness, please state your name and occupation for the courtroom. This is probably Rika's first time testifying in a courtroom. You hope she'll be okay. As if I need such introductions, but allow me to indulge you all. Oh lord, is she seriously doing that here? I am Musarika Tudor, Dark Lord of Oranax, High Archmagi of the Cadmium Flames, and business proprietor of Sweet Confections. I see, I was not aware we were in the presence of such a renowned individual. Wait, does he actually believe her? Your Honor, Musarika Tudor is the owner of a local cafe in Oranax. But isn't she also a High Archmagi? I am! No, she really isn't. Tyrion, you're ruining my flow! Yeah, stop ruining her flow, Tyrion! You would say that your flow is the most disrupted right now. Ahem. Anyways, Miss Tudor, you were at the Oranax refinery on the night of the accident, and you witnessed the moment that the victim fell off of the walkway. Am I correct? Yes, that's right. According to your statement, you ran up to Morrison after you saw Justin fall off of the walkway. The problem is that there's a contradiction between both of your testimonies. There's a contradiction? Morrison testified that he didn't see the victim fall into the vat until after you approached him. This wouldn't make sense, though. You saw the victim fall off of the walkway before you ran up to Morrison. Morrison couldn't have possibly seen the victim fall again after that. Oh, I think I see what happened. You do? I think you're misunderstanding what I said before. I misunderstood you? If that's true, could you please testify to the court exactly what happened? Please include every detail you can remember. Sure. I was at the refinery when I heard a strange sound from the walkway. When I looked to see what it was, I saw that Justin had tumbled over the guardrail, but he hadn't fallen into the vat yet. I saw him barely hanging onto the edge of the platform. I didn't know how to get to the walkway from there, so I looked for help on the grounds and found Mr. Morrison. He must have seen Justin lose his grip of the ledge and fall into the vat after that. So the victim didn't immediately fall into the vat. He was hanging onto the edge of the walkway. That would explain how Mr. Morrison saw the victim fall into the vat after Ms. Tudor saw him fall off of the walkway. In any case, Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. Okay. On the night of the accident, Musarika Tudor frantically approached Noah Morrison and a man named Aster. Okay.
Objection!
Over? She said over, didn't she? Rika, you said that the victim tumbled over the guardrail. As in, he was thrown over it. Yes, that's right. What? Did you see the moment that the guardrail broke? No, I didn't. I already told you that, didn't I? But you did see the moment that Justin fell off of the walkway. And in that moment, did you see Justin break the guardrail? No, like I told you, I didn't see the moment that the guardrail broke. But that's the thing, Rika. According to Morrison, Justin Way broke the guardrail as he fell into the vat. More specifically, he said that Justin was standing on the walkway when this happened. What? According to the prosecution, Justin Way leaned on a faulty guardrail and broke it, falling into the vat. But that's not what you saw, was it, Rika? No, I saw him tumble over the guardrail. I'm afraid I don't see the importance of this, Mr. Cuthbert. Are you accusing a witness of perjury? There's definitely something going on here. But what? Musarika is a mage, and you don't want to suspect her. But you need to consider every possibility. What is happening here? I think they're both telling the truth. They're both telling the truth, you guess. But how does that make sense? Okay, think through this. If we assume that Rika and Morrison are telling the truth, you need to remember the exact order of events. First, Rika saw Justin go up the walkway. When I looked to see what it was, I saw that Justin had tumbled over the guardrail. But he hadn't fallen into the vat yet. I saw him barely hanging onto the edge of the platform. She saw Justin fall over the guardrail and off of the walkway. Justin was able to grab onto the walkway ledge. That's when Musarika went to look for help. This is when she ran into Morrison and Aster. Musarika came running towards us. She was trying to tell us something, but the damn machines were too loud for us to hear her. She pointed at the walkway, and that's when we saw someone fall into the vat. By the time we could get them to stop the machines, it was too late. And then there's Aster's account of events. Did you see the expression on his face? He might have been unconscious. I'm afraid I couldn't see anything on his face. It was much too dark to make out his features. Wait, you didn't actually see his face? How did you know it was actually him that fell in? Well, who else could it have been? Aster and Morrison couldn't see Justin's face. That one detail of their testimonies never sat right with you. But you dismissed your suspicions. They found Justin's body in the vat after all. You know for a fact that he fell into that vat. But you never considered one other possibility. Another person? Is that really possible? But it's the only thing that makes sense. It would also explain how Rika, Morrison, and Aster all saw someone fall off of the walkway at different times. But then, who is this second person? Ugh, you don't have a choice. Even if you don't know all of the facts, this is the only conclusion that you can draw. I think you've had quite enough time to deliberate, Mr. Cuthbert. Are you accusing the witness or not? I am not accusing the witness of perjury, Your Honor. Both Ms. Tudor and Mr. Morrison's testimonies appear to contradict each other. But they are both telling the truth. Then please enlighten us, Mr. Cuthbert. How could both of their testimonies possibly be true? Well, I think there's only one possible explanation. Both Ms. Tudor and Mr. Morrison saw someone fall off the walkway. But the person that Ms. Tudor saw and the person that Mr. Morrison saw were two different people. Are you serious, Mr. Cuthbert? Do you honestly think some random person fell into the vat moments after Justin Way fell in? It's the only conclusion that makes sense, Ms. Steelwind. Ms. Tudor knew the victim and recognized him. That's how she was able to confirm that it was him that fell into the vat. However, Mr. Morrison and his companion did not know the victim personally. They could barely make out his features. They only assumed that it was him after learning that he fell in. Please. It's far more likely that Ms. Tudor is simply mistaken about what she saw. What? No, I'm sure I saw Justin tumble over the guardrail. And let's not forget Ms. Tudor's allegiances. As a beneficiary of the Dracogen Trading Company, she has every reason to confound this case in the defendant's favor. That's not... That's enough. This is a civil case, Mr. Cuthbert, not some murder mystery for you to throw wild theories towards. This was clearly an accident. It looks like you don't have a choice. You're going to have to use your trump card. You have one piece of evidence that implies that this wasn't a simple accident. Transmutation on the guardrails. Are you sure about that, Your Honor? What? Justin Way's death was reported as an unfortunate accident. As a result, the city guard put minimal resources into their investigation. More specifically, there was no reason to call in the Arcane Inquisition. What are you talking about now? Why would the Inquisition be... No! Are you saying that... Unlike the Oranax City Guard, I have a mage capable of casting Detect Magic. My bodyguard, Celeste McCoy, scanned the crime scene for magical traces, and she found traces of transmutation on the broken guardrail. Traces of magic were found at the crime scene? But that would make this a potential homicide, Your Honor. This is ridiculous. The accident took place within an arcane refinery. Those traces could have easily come from the purification process. Ms. Steelwind, these traces were found only on the guardrails that Justin broke. We didn't find them anywhere else. We can't be certain of what happened, but it's clear that a mage used magic near the scene of the accident. Foul play may have been involved. So, my theory of another person falling into the vat is entirely possible. My client is not at fault for the guardrail breaking. Considering this shocking revelation, there is still much we do not know about Justin Way's death. With that said, I have no choice but to suspend the trial of Von Sanctus versus Dracogen. You had a feeling that this would happen. Just like your other cases, the court won't pass a verdict unless a culprit is found. The court will give the Arcane Inquisition time to investigate the scene and these supposed magical traces. We will resume the trial in 2 days' time. Court is adjourned. Alright, so we've got a temporary reprieve. Well, at least we survived the first day. But it kind of feels like we're back to square one. Yeah, the Inquisition will get involved. They know that magic played a role in what happened. If you want them to dismiss the case against Dracogen, you're going to have to find out exactly what happened. If that's even possible. Hey, are you okay? You feel a headache coming on. Yeah, I think I'm just tired. Well, this day has been exhausting. It's pretty late. Should we just head back to the inn and continue the investigation tomorrow? No, I want to take another look at the refinery before the Inquisition gets there. The throbbing pain in your skull seems to disagree with you doing that. Yeah, no. We're heading back to the inn. I'm fine, really. Tyrion, I know you're anxious about the trial, but you need to get some rest. Celeste, it's fine. It's not. You're going to work yourself. Would you just stay out of my way? Again, your voice came out louder than you meant for it to. Fine, whatever. Do what you want. It's this damn city. Being back here is really getting to you. That's all the more reason to get through this trial as soon as possible. The soreness in your head doesn't seem to be going away anytime soon. Perhaps she's right. You'll be better off investigating the scene after some rest. Another nightmare overtakes your sleep. You clutch the note tightly in your hands as you read it. I'm sorry, Tyrion. There were so many things that I wanted to tell you. So many things that I wanted to show you. But I'm afraid that I can't do that now. I need you to be strong now. This world is bleak, merciless, and unforgiving. But I've seen you. I know how bright the light within you is. Use my eyes. Peer beyond the divine gate, as I once did. Use it to reclaim the future. Her eyes? I don't understand. It doesn't matter. All you have to do is stop the execution. If you can just distract the knights long enough, you can save her and run away. You'll have to abandon your home, but at least she'll still be with you. As you try to sprint towards the gallows, a knight grabs your arm and pulls you back. Hey, kid, you can't cross this point. Hey, stop that! You fruitlessly try to break his grip by striking him with your bare hands, but he barely feels anything through his armor. You continue delivering blow after blow to him, but it does nothing. Your knuckles start to bleed. Irritated by your behavior, the knight pins you to the ground. Damn kid. You desperately struggle against him to no avail. And from this position, you have no choice but to watch what's happening. Wait! Stop! You make eye contact with your mother one last time. Her body goes limp. You stare blankly at the hanging body. No! This isn't... Mom? You clutch her note tightly in your hand. You feel a comforting yet fleeting warmth from it. Mom! Tyrion? Celeste? You snap back awake. It was another nightmare. You notice that tears are streaming down your face. You quickly try to bring up your sleeve to wipe them away, but you realize that Celeste is firmly gripping your hand. What? Why are you... Sorry. You were shouting in your sleep, but you seemed to calm down a little whenever I held your hand. So, I've been doing that. Oh. Tyrion, are you okay? You're not. You've been acting weird since we arrived in Oranax. It's nothing. It's not nothing! Does it have something to do with your mother? For the past 2 nights you've been calling out for her in your sleep. Please, just talk to me. I'm your friend, aren't I? You never even realized it. You didn't have many people in your life after you left Oranax. You only had Miss Tamora, and she never wanted to talk about what happened. But Celeste, she's been there since you started your career. Of course she's your friend. It all happened a long time ago. We lived here together in that old house. My mother was a merchant and a mage. Your mother was a mage? But I guess the gift of magic skipped my generation. I could never use it. About 10 years ago, my mother's business partner was found murdered, and they found traces of magic at the crime scene. They thought that your mom did it. Ms. Tamora was my mother's defense attorney for the trial. She did everything she could to get her acquitted, but she could never find the real culprit. They found her guilty of first-degree murder. I tried to stop her execution, but... Your voice starts breaking. Tyrion... I'm sorry, Celeste. What? Coming back here has brought back so many memories. I thought that I'd already moved on from what happened. If I could just keep saving people as an attorney, then maybe I could put all of this behind me. But I'm back in Oranax, and those feelings are still so fresh in my mind. It's like I'm still the same powerless child from 10 years ago. I know that I've been taking that out on you. I'm really sorry. Don't be. I get it. I know what it's like to lose someone like that. She does, doesn't she? When my dad was murdered, you were there for me. If it weren't for you, I would have still believed that he died hating me. Celeste, Celeste slowly clasps your hand within hers again. It feels warm and comforting. Has this been the warmth you've been feeling for the last few nights? So, just let me be here for you. You can feel yourself dozing off. You have to snap yourself back awake. Sorry, the last few days have been a little tiring. It's okay, just focus on falling asleep. I'll stay with you for as long as you need me to. I'm also feeling pretty tired, though. I'll just rest my eyes a bit. For the first time since you arrived in Oranax, you finally receive a good night's rest. Aww. You wake up the next morning feeling well rested. You feel almost a little too rested. You feel really reluctant to leave the comfort of your bed. Celeste? Are you there? Your hand feels warm. Aww. You can feel your heart stop. Celeste? What do you want? Her eyes slowly open as she wakes from her equally restful sleep. She drowsily scans her surroundings. You both dart out of the bed. So you seem to be doing better. You're okay, right? Yeah, thank you for last night. Poor phrasing. Hello? Are you there, Mr. Cuthbert? Ah, what the hell? Your soul nearly jumps out of your body. You suddenly hear Aster's voice, and it's extremely loud. You look around to see where he is, but he's nowhere to be found. Aster? Ah, thank the skilled lord. I've finally gotten through to you two. What? Where are you? I'm using a spell to speak with you right now. I apologize for contacting you in this manner, but I was worried that something had happened to you two. Right, of course. Anyways, what do you want at this time of day? This time of day? Mr. Cuthbert, it's 3:00 p.m. in the afternoon. What? 3:00 p.m.? You missed the entire morning! I hope everything's okay. Did something happen? No, everything's okay. Anyways, if it's already this late, we should head over to the refinery. Yes, the investigation. Let's do that, immediately. Celeste immediately power walks out of the room. You quickly follow after her. If you're heading to the refinery, do you mind if I meet with you two? There's something that I'd like to ask you. Sure. Wonderful. I'll see you at the town square. You quickly meet Aster in the town square while you walk to the refinery. You and Celeste walk to your destination with purpose. A little too much purpose. It's almost as if you're both trying to distract yourselves from something. Every time you make eye contact with Celeste, she quickly glances away. Things are a little awkward, but you much prefer this over the tense mood between you two yesterday. Anyways, Aster, what was that spell you used earlier? It let you speak with us without being there. Oh, that? That was a conjuration spell. It's called Send Message. I just feel a little bit uneasy that you can just contact us out of the blue like that. More importantly, you're a little worried about what he might have seen. Don't worry, the spell is perfectly harmless. I can give you the parameters if you'd like. Okay, Send Message. For the duration of this spell, the caster projects their voice to communicate with the target. Anyone within a 30-foot radius of the target can hear the caster's voice. The caster can also hear sounds close to the target, allowing for two-way communication. The target must be a person known to the caster. That person must also be conscious. Otherwise, the spell will fail. Alternatively, the target can be an object that is attuned to the caster's magic. It looks like it only facilitates communication. He definitely didn't see the embarrassing state that you two were in. By the way, I'm not trying to be rude, but why are you following us? Oh, yes. I was still trying to think of the proper method to ask you, but you both seem to be on edge at the moment. What did you want to ask us? You already told me about the traces of transmutation at the refinery, but the trial yesterday really highlighted the significance of that. I can't simply stand by if I was a witness to a murder. And, may I join you on your investigation? You're questioning his motives for a variety of reasons. He was the only other mage that was at the scene of the crime. And between him and Rika, you definitely trust Rika more. Alright, I see no reason why not. Celeste shoots you a concerned look. You subtly gesture for her to keep an eye on Aster. She nods in acknowledgement. Aster is your prime suspect right now, and he has to be aware of that. But if you keep him close to you, you might catch some dissonant thoughts through the eye. You arrive at the refinery and see that several knights from the Inquisition have already arrived. You glance at the damaged walkway and see Commander White there with a few of his knights. He seems to notice you too, but he only pays you a passing glance. Oh, Mr. Cuthbert, I've been waiting for you. For quite a while, may I add. Right, sorry about that. I suppose you have your reasons, and you've more than proven yourself worthy of my trust. Although, Dracogen gives Aster a suspicious side glance. He appears to have come to the same conclusion that you did. Well, you've given me a little reason to doubt your judgment. I will leave the investigation in your capable hands. Speaking of the investigation, where should we start first? Now that we've gotten the Inquisition involved, we might be able to learn more about the magical traces at the crime scene. You look at Commander White, who is inspecting the walkway. He's probably your best bet for getting more information about the investigation. I'm quite pleased with your work during the trial. I'm glad I put my trust in you. Thank you, but we're still a long way from getting your case dismissed. And showing the possibility of a murder definitely made things much more complicated. I see no reason to blame yourself. You merely played the cards that you were dealt. Honestly, I'm still trying to make sense of what happened. Do you have any idea who the second victim might be? I have no idea. But all of my other employees are accounted for. I doubt that it was anyone who worked for me. But then who was it? To be perfectly honest, I'm a little concerned with how many unauthorized people were there that day. He has a point. It seems strange that Justin, Rika, and Morrison were all there. Okay, so we are going to move up to the walkway. Oh, it's you two. And who's this? Wait! The hell? Commander, please don't... What? Justin or some other person would be in this exact place. Has the Inquisition found any evidence to prove my theory? You mean about a second person falling into the vat? Sorry, kid, but it ain't that simple. The body of that Justin fella sort of dissolved. That's quite gruesome. If another person had fallen in, their body would have dissolved too. But we could only find some bone fragments, blood, and a lot of metallic shards. Have you been able to use divination magic to identify the bone fragments? Yep, the ones we found all belong to Justin Way. No signs of bones from another person. The Inquisition was able to fish out several pieces of bone matter and metallic shards from the vat that Justin Way fell into. Divination magic confirms that the bones belong to him. None of the bone matter found belonged to another person. That makes me wonder what the metallic shards were supposed to be. There wasn't any evidence of another person falling in? Could your theory have been incorrect then? Are you sure that you and Morrison saw a person fall into the vat, Aster? I definitely saw someone fall off of the walkway and break the guardrails. Although, thinking back on it, I didn't recognize who exactly that person was. The harbor master and I were pretty far away, and it wasn't well lit. Do you think the second victim's body fully dissolved? That might explain why we can't find any bone matter from them. No, if my theory is correct, the second victim fell in minutes after Justin fell. It wouldn't make sense if that person's body fully dissolved before Justin's. But why can't you find any bone matter of the second person? Either way, Dracogen might want to hear about this. If the liquid is so volatile, how were you able to take things out of the vat? Oh, the liquid isn't volatile anymore. When the harbor master and I reported what we saw, the workers poured some sort of alchemical solution into the vat. Yeah, according to them, that solution neutralized the evocation magic in those chemicals. From what I hear, the magical liquid in these vats is usually blue. The solution that they poured in turned to green. Yes, unfortunately it was too late. By the time they'd neutralized the liquid, Justin's body had already mostly dissolved. And if they hadn't neutralized it so quickly, we probably wouldn't have found anything from the victim. When Noah Morrison and Aster Wyverngard reported the accident, the refinery workers poured a yellow alchemical solution into the vat. This solution neutralized the destructive magic of the vat liquids and turned it green. They're usually blue. If they hadn't neutralized the liquid, everything in the vat would have been completely destroyed. I still can't believe that you've been the Crown Prince this entire time. I wasn't trying to deceive you. I was just worried that you might treat me differently if you knew the truth. Oh, right. Should I call Steelwind over here for you? She'll probably want to see you. No, I think it would be best if you didn't. Oh, I remember now. If you're the Crown Prince, that makes Prosecutor Steelwind your fiancé. Right, Lady Frigga mentioned that during the Nightgrave case. That's why the name Aster sounded so familiar. You saw it in her thoughts. Ugh, that Miriam. She's caused me so much trouble by publicly revealing my marriage to Lady Steelwind. I had hoped to keep it a secret for much longer. Where is Prosecutor Steelwind, anyways? She always investigates these crime scenes herself. She said she wanted to investigate the disappearing ship personally. She seems really hell-bent on finding the people responsible. They did attempt to kidnap the Crown Prince, after all. She must really care about you, Aster. No, I highly doubt that. What? Our marriage was arranged by our parents. She had no say in the matter, and I know that she only tolerates me for the good of our kingdom. I'm sure she still cares about you. No, I can tell by the way that she behaves around me. Her hands quiver with rage, and she can't even bear to look at me when I speak to her. Damn, I can't believe she even treats the Crown Prince like that. She may be my fiancé, but our marriage is purely political. She endures so much because of her name. I guess you aristocrats have your own share of problems. Okay. Alright, so... let's go and talk to Dracogen again. Dracogen, we spoke with the Inquisition about what they found in the vat, and they could only find bone matter belonging to Justin. Well, that and several metallic shards. What? That can't be right. I know, I was hoping to find some hard evidence to prove my theory. I'll have to find another approach to prove it. No, that's not what I meant. There shouldn't be any solid matter in those vats. Are you talking about the metallic shards? I just assumed that those were some kind of magical byproduct. No. The refinement process requires that everything in that vat remains a liquid. Solid matter would absorb the liquid's magical properties and taint the entire batch. So those metal shards weren't supposed to be in there? Do you think they came from the broken pieces of the railing? Possibly. We'll probably want to double check with the commander to make sure. But this is definitely strange. You'll need to take a moment to work through all of this. From what Dracogen said, there shouldn't have been any solid matter in those vats. We've already confirmed that the bone matter they found came from Justin's body. But that leaves another question. How did metallic shards appear in the vat? Where did those metallic shards come from? A metal object was thrown into the vat. Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Whatever that object was, it probably dissolved into the shards that Orm found. That's the thing, though. What should the magical liquid have done to the object? The magical liquid in the vat was extremely volatile. It was destructive enough to reduce an entire human body to a few shards of bone. The vat liquid should have completely destroyed the metal object. But the object would have been completely destroyed. We shouldn't have found any metal shards in the first place. Right, but we did find them. How do you explain that? Why wasn't the metal object fully destroyed? That night, something happened that prevented the metal object from being fully destroyed. No, the magic in that liquid was really powerful, but something happened recently that would have prevented it from destroying the metal object completely. When Astor and Morrison reported the accident, the workers immediately neutralized the liquid's magic. They did this to attempt to save Justin, but it would have also stopped the liquid from destroying anything else within the vat. So that's why we found those metal shards. And whatever that metal object was, it was only partially destroyed. This means that it fell into the vat around the time that Justin fell into the vat. If it fell a while before the accident, it would have dissolved completely. And if it fell after the accident, it wouldn't have dissolved at all. Furthermore, whatever that object was, it was probably as large as Justin. A large unknown metal object fell into the vat around the time that Justin Way fell into it. The magical liquid reduced it to several small metallic shards. A construct! That is a good possibility, Dr. Zadium. Do you think this metal object had something to do with the second victim? Maybe they were holding it when they fell in. I'm not sure, but it's definitely possible. We should take a closer look at the metallic shards that Commander White found. Those shards might help us identify the second victim, if that person even exists. Commander White, you mentioned that you found several metallic shards in the vat. Do you mind if we take a look at them? Sure, just don't get any bright ideas about taking anything. You'll also want to avoid touching them with your bare hands. The liquid is neutralized, but it definitely ain't good for your skin. The commander motions to one of the Inquisition Knights. After a few moments, he brings back a large barrel filled with metallic shards. What? There were that many? What could have possibly fallen into the vat? Well, I guess we should get started. You spend some time closely inspecting the metallic shards with Celeste. The shards are only the size of small rocks, and it's difficult to find any discerning features. Any luck on your end? No, I haven't found... Oh, Celeste? I think I found something. I'm not exactly sure what it is, though. Celeste pulls out a metallic shard with some sort of engraving on it. Unlike the other shards, this one looks far less damaged. The engraving on it looks like some sort of crest. That's the crest of House Von Sanctus. Isn't he the noble that's charging Dracogen? Metallic shards has been updated in your notes. A large, unknown metal object fell into the vat around the time that Justin Way fell into it. The magical liquid reduced it to several small metallic shards. One of the shards has the crest of House von Sanctus, the noble family that controls the city of Ornax. Well, I doubt that Lord von Sanctus was the second victim. Aster, do you know who would have had a house emblem like this? Normally only the Lord's retainers would have the emblems of his house. Well, I doubt that Justin was the one who had this in his possession. Do you think one of von Sanctus's retainers fell into the vat last night? It's definitely possible, but if that did happen, why haven't we heard about it? Lloyd von Sanctus would have the resources to keep something like that out of the public eye. The only way to know for sure would be to ask him ourselves. But even if we could talk to him, he would never cooperate with us. You glance at the prince. Someone of his station would have no trouble meeting with Lord von Sanctus. An idea begins to form in your mind. Unless... What is it, Mr. Cuthbert? Aster, do you think you could help us interrogate Lord von Sanctus? Really? You need my help? In this instance, it would be very difficult to speak to him by ourselves. But as the Crown Prince, he'd be much more inclined to speak with you. Of course! I'd be happy to help! You might be overplaying your hand by utilizing Aster this way. You're still wary of the prince, especially since he was one of the few mages at the scene. Will this really work, though? It's not ideal, but it's the only lead we have so far. But it still bothers you. Why haven't you found any bone matter from a second person? Maybe you're overthinking it. You should pursue every lead and see where it takes you. And to do that, you need to find out where Lord von Sanctus is. So this is von Sanctus's house. It'd be more appropriate to call this building a palace rather than a house. Ugh, what's that smell? As you head further into the manor, you're hit with a very pungent and sour odor. It almost burns the interior of your nostrils every time you inhale. Well, we're here. You look around the manor and don't see anyone nearby. It looks like Lord Sanctus isn't home at the moment. Perhaps we should try looking somewhere else. We mustn't let such idealistic notions throw our nation into chaos. You arrive at the town square and see Lord von Sanctus speaking to several spectators from a podium. There's Lord von Sanctus. He appears to be giving some sort of speech. You do your best to remain hidden from his view while you listen in. Please understand, the actions of the nobility seem callous. However, we only have your best interests at heart. This controversy with the Dracogen Trading Company is just one of the many examples. These so-called unions that men like him support may seem appealing. Oh great, he's a union buster! But they only obfuscate and hinder the nobility from protecting the working class. Men like Stefanik Dracogen are merely charlatans. They only seek financial gain by strong-arming your true benefactors. True benefactors? What a joke. I knew that von Sanctus was wary of Dracogen, but I never expected him to be this zealous about getting rid of him. I think it's less about Dracogen specifically, and more about what he represents. What do you mean? The Dracogen Trading Company has presented tangible proof that its policies are both effective and profitable. Even businesses that have no affiliation with him have started following his example. Von Sanctus is merely a relic of the past, and I think he knows that his archaic ideals won't survive in this landscape. I can only hope that our grand kingdom recognizes this danger as I have. The pompous noble leaves the podium as the citizens ponder his words. Ugh, what a load of garbage. It's obvious that von Sanctus knows his days are numbered. But look at what happened. We let the common folk set their own standards and a young man died. I guess you have a point there. You saw von Sanctus get into a carriage shortly after his speech. It appears to be heading back to his manor. Alright, we're headed back to the manor. Anyways, we saw von Sanctus heading back here. We should be able to speak with him soon. Wait, Tyrion, isn't he going to recognize us? we can't really avoid that. If we want to question him, we need to speak to him directly. But even a noble like him would have to act civilly with the Crown Prince present. You mean like how you civilly embarrassed and insulted him a few days ago? Right, you completely forgot about the chess tournament. Well, it's not as if we can hide our identities from him. I faced him in the chess tournament, and I'm Dracogen's attorney. He knows what we look like. What we look like? Wait, that's it! What? Illusio! Wait, what are you... Wow. That's quite impressive, Celeste. Right? I've been practicing that one. What are you two talking about? I think you should see for yourself. The prince gestures toward a nearby mirror in the hallway. You reluctantly approach it. Just what exactly did Celeste do to you? What? Why do I look like Rice Rudolph? It looks great, right? Eris taught that one to me. Do you honestly expect him to fall for this? He's probably a powerful mage. He'll see right through this. Are you telling me that the Crown Prince is here? Why didn't you notify me sooner? You hear Von Sanctus shouting at his attendant from down the hallway. He seems to be quickly heading this way. Uh-oh. You might want to disguise yourself as well, Celeste. Don't encourage her. This is extremely illegal. Right. Look, you should just dispel this ridiculous disguise and... He's almost here. Ah, I can't think of anyone. I'm terribly sorry for keeping your highness waiting. Illusio! Huh? What was that? What are you talking about? I could have sworn that I heard something. I didn't hear anything either. You must be imagining things. Skilled Lord help us, of all the people she could have chosen. At least she's able to mimic her voice well enough. Oh, Lady Steelwind, I wasn't expecting you until much later. Well, I do not answer to you. I shall do as I shall please. Yes, I suppose you have a habit of doing that. Surprisingly, it doesn't look like he's seen through your disguises. He must have other things on his mind if his guard is down like this. Anyways, Lord Von Sanctus, pardon the abrupt intrusion. I came by to pay my respects. I am honored by your majesty's presence. Unfortunately, I am quite busy with administrative matters at the moment. Too busy to show hospitality to the heir to the throne? Oh, I wasn't. I suppose I have some time to speak with you. The conditions aren't ideal, but at least you have Von Sanctus here with you. You should let Prince Aster make small talk with him for a bit. After that, you can subtly bring up the Von Sanctus crest that you found in the vat. I heard about the charges that you've brought against the Dracogen Trading Company. Forgive my bluntness, but is everything well within your estate? Oh, that. I am simply cleaning house, nothing more. I've dealt with plenty of men like Dracogen before, and this time will be no different. I understand that he may be taking business away from you, but does that really warrant you taking such drastic measures? It's not just about his business, it's these ideas that he's putting into people's heads. He's allowed these unions to continue existing, and other businesses are following his example. It's absolutely absurd. It's as if the entire world has gone mad. I see. Our society only functions when the lower class knows their place. If that's how our society functions, then perhaps it is flawed. You're still young, Prince Aster. These righteous ideals may sound appealing, but they are the path to disorder. The common folk do not care about the well-being of our kingdom as a whole. They only care about themselves individually. If we allow them to become empowered, they will use that power selfishly. It is up to the upper class to maintain order. I see. By the way, I am surprised that you're representing Lord Von Sanctus, Lady Steelwind. Oh, right. What is he doing? It's already hard enough to maintain this ruse. I knew that you recently became a prosecutor, but I never imagined that you'd represent a noble. Don't get ahead of yourself, Aster. What does that even mean? Let's not be coy, Lady Steelwind. If you must know, Your Majesty, how Steelwind and I came to an arrangement. The fair lady is so keen on wasting her talents on civil work. Given that, I might as well utilize her to my benefit. Do not speak to her like that. Oh, I meant no disrespect. But rest assured, this is only temporary. I see. So you have an arrangement with Lucio Steelwind. It seems that Aster is collecting his own information. the way, Lord Von Sanctus, have any of your attendants gone missing lately? That's an oddly specific question, but no, all of my attendants are accounted for. You don't see any dissonant thoughts from the eye, but he could be unconsciously shielding himself from it. I must ask, why would you ask such a question? You see, I actually found a discarded trinket while walking around the city. It had the crest of House Von Sanctus on it. I was worried that something unsavory might have happened to one of your people. Ah, I see. I suppose you must be on edge after what happened to your ship. However, items with the Von Sanctus crest are quite common nowadays. Really? The item that you found must have been a product produced by Von Sanctus Industries. An item produced by Von Sanctus Industries? So the Von Sanctus crest is on some of the items produced by your company. Not just some of the items. The Von Sanctus crest is engraved on every product created by Von Sanctus Industries. As a result, people have come to associate the quality of our products with the quality of House Von Sanctus. Or at least they did until hacks like Dracogen came out of the woodwork. So in other words, it's just branded. What type of products does Von Sanctus Industries produce? We used to produce magical accessories for mages, but now we produce all manner of products. As the head of commerce in our kingdom, we've diversified our holdings. Oh. That means the metal shard could have come from anything. Okay, we've updated the metallic shards. Von Sanctus Industries places its crest on all of its products, therefore this shard could have potentially come from a product produced by Von Sanctus Industries. It seems this line of questioning led to a dead end. Damn it, is it really impossible to identify where that shard came from? Do you sell your products to the Dracogen Trading Company? Yes, of course I do. Despite my misgivings with Dracogen, it would be foolish of me if I didn't do business with him. That means that there are Von Sanctus products in the Arcane refinery. You're called Von Sanctus Industries, after all. That's true. The metal shard could have been from some sort of industrial tool. Just what are you implying, Lady Steelwind? A twinge of nervousness through the eye? Does he know something? Why would he get so defensive over a question like that? Was there a Von Sanctus product in the refinery on the night of the murder? She misspoke and said murder instead of accident. But that is evoking a reaction. Answer the question, Vaughn. Celeste attempts to loudly slam the tip of her cane on the ground, only to realize that her cane isn't actually real. She loses her balance and tips over a nearby vase. The vase shatters on the ground, creating quite a mess of broken shards and water. So, Lady Steelwind, are you okay? Celeste immediately regains her balance and tries to act as if nothing happened. I'm not paying for that. Ah! Lord Von Sanctus completely loses his composure and recoils at the sight of the broken vase. Construct! I require your assistance. Ha! There! You called it, Dr. Zadium. Acknowledged. In response to Von Sanctus's call, an arcane construct walks out from a nearby closet. Construct, clean up this mess at once. He seems very disturbed by the mess. Is he some sort of clean freak? Acknowledged. The construct begins quickly picking up the shards of the broken vase. You own an arcane construct? I do. Von Sanctus Industries is the inventor of arcane constructs, after all. Right. You recall Celeste mentioning that earlier. Would you like one, Your Highness? My apologies. I'm not very interested in using artificery. Suit yourself. In any case, I'm afraid Lady Steelwind must be taking her leave now. What? Remember, you said that you could only accompany me for 1 hour. It's close to being 1 hour, right, Lady Steelwind? What are you... Oh, right, 1 hour. It would definitely not be good for us to be here for more than 1 hour. Oh, does this illusion only last for an hour? In the meantime, may I discuss some personal matters with you, Lord Von Sanctus? Of course, I'm at your disposal, Your Majesty. You raise an eyebrow at the prince. It appears that he didn't come here just to help you. But you suppose that you've gotten all of the information you need out of Von Sanctus. It's time to move on to the next lead. That was embarrassing. Yeah, that was a bit too close for comfort. Well, at least no one saw through our disguises. Are you an attendant here? Please, notify Lord Von Sanctus that The real Arya Steelwind walks through the front door of the manor just as you are about to exit. She immediately stops in her tracks upon meeting her doppelganger. Aburio. With one spell, Steelwind dispels the illusions over you and Celeste. Upon seeing who you really are, she lets out an irritated sigh. Is impersonating the Steelwind some kind of hobby for you, Ms. McCoy? She looks really angry this time. No, there was a really good reason for us doing this. Let me guess. You wanted to interrogate Von Sanctus without him knowing who you really were. No. Lying about your name is one matter, but impersonating a noble using magic is a serious crime. Tyrion, help, please? Are you seriously going to have to defend her in court again? You quickly try to think of a way to defuse the situation. Sorry for the wait, you two. I had to discuss... Lady Steelwind? Great. According to Aster, Steelwind despises him. Knowing that he was a part of this will make things worse. Your Majesty? Why is he here? What? Oh, I see you've dispelled their disguises. You knew about this? Aster steps between you and Steelwind. It seems that he's trying to calm her down. For better or for worse, her attention is firmly focused on him. I'm terribly sorry. I didn't mean to disrespect you. No, that's not why He's really close. They pulled this ruse under my orders. Could you please look the other way, just this once? Okay. Thank you, Lady Steelwind. I won't forget this. I need to go. Well, that was certainly something. I'm sorry you two had to see that. What? It's as I said before. She absolutely detests me. You saw it, didn't you? She could barely look me in the eye. Oh my god! In any case, we're starting to run out of time. We should head back to the refinery. But we still don't know where the metal shard came from. From what Von Sanctus told us, I don't think we can find out exactly where it came from. If each of Von Sanctus's products has that crest, it could be any number of things. But hopefully, Dracogen can help us narrow that list down. If it did come from some kind of industrial tool, he might be able to check if any of the refinery tools are missing. You just hope that he can provide you with some kind of lead. Okay, we're headed back to the refinery. Hello again, Mr. Cuthbert. I hope you have good news. Well, actually, you take some time to explain to Dracogen what you found during your investigation. You're still uncertain about the identity of the second victim. That metal shard with the Von Sanctus crest is your best lead right now. I see. With that said, do you have any tools that you've purchased from Von Sanctus Industries? I do. He personally sold me quite a few when I first arrived in the city. I even purchased the security system for the refinery building from him. Really? Did you purchase anything else from him? Well, he also tried to sell me some of those arcane constructs. He told me I could be the first person in Oranax to own such innovative technology. But I turned him down. Really? But they seem so useful. I don't feel comfortable trusting machines to handle the work here. Those constructs require very specific instructions, and they lacked common sense. That's true. We saw how unreliable they could be during the Nightgrave case. He heavily emphasized how exclusive this deal would be for me. Looking back on it, he was probably trying to make me dependent on his services. Yeah, I guess you made the right choice by refusing his offer. Lloyd Von Sanctus personally sold several industrial tools to Stefanik Dracogen on behalf of Von Sanctus Industries. A lot of these tools were present in the Arcane refinery. Von Sanctus Industries also created the security system for the refinery. Von Sanctus attempted to sell Dracogen a few arcane constructs, a product that is not available to anyone else in Oranax. However, Stefanik Dracogen did not trust the construct's ability to perform tasks effectively. He did not purchase any. Anyways, have any of the tools from Von Sanctus Industries been reported missing? The Inquisition actually asked me the same question, so I took some time today to check my inventory. Why would the Inquisition ask him for that? Did Steelwind come to the same conclusion that you did? There was one tool that was unaccounted for. Really? What kind of tool was it? A rod of mending. It's a large tool that we use to repair damage on the machines. A tool for repairs? How large was it? Quite large, actually. It's called a rod, but it's more of a large cylindrical tool. It requires 2 people to properly carry and use it. Wait, a repair tool like that would use transmutation magic, right? That's right! What if the Rod of Mending was the thing that weakened the guardrail? Is that possible, Dracogen? I suppose that is possible. Now that you mention it, I recall there being a way to reverse its effects. You never even considered that the transmutation traces were left by an artificery tool. That does lift some suspicion off of Aster. A Rod of Mending, an artificery tool that channels transmutation magic to repair objects. It's possible to reverse its magic and cause it to weaken objects instead of repairing them. It's quite large and requires 2 people to properly carry and use it. Someone could have sabotaged the rail with a rod, and they might have thrown it into the vat to cover their tracks. But it didn't completely dissolve. That would mean that they threw the rod in close to when Justin fell off of the walkway. It can't be a coincidence that these 2 events happened so close to each other. And we still have no idea who actually broke the guardrail. We didn't find a second body in the vat, and we don't have evidence that proves a second victim even exists. I feel as if we have more questions than answers at the moment. We've learned a few new facts about the case, though, and the Inquisition has verified the traces of transmutation on the guardrail. The burden of proof is still on the prosecution to prove that Dracogen is at fault. Even if Steelwind has a proper explanation for that, I can counter her with the facts we've learned thus far. I just hope that the trial goes as smoothly as you're describing. It rarely ever does, but knowing that would just needlessly stress him out. Regardless, I appreciate the work that you've done this far. I'll leave things in your very capable hands. You just hope that you don't encounter any more curveballs tomorrow. Alright, saving our progress. Alright, and we are now in the courtroom. Court is now resumed for the trial of Stefanik Dracogen. Let us review the proceedings from 2 days ago. At first, the facts of the case seemed very straightforward. The victim, Justin Way, put his weight on a poorly maintained guardrail on the refinery grounds. Said guardrail broke, causing Justin Way to fall onto his death. However, the defense presented a shocking piece of evidence in the previous proceedings. Traces of transmutation magic were found on that same broken guardrail. Oh, excuse me. This new evidence implies that sabotage, if not outright foul play, played a part in the death of the victim. This evidence is also accompanied by conflicting testimonies from witnesses. All of these elements have thrown quite some doubt on the validity of the prosecution's case. Yes, however, the prosecution maintains that the Dracogen Trading Company is at fault for Justin Way's death. Even though someone may have sabotaged the guardrails, the prosecution acknowledges that sabotage may have occurred at the scene of the accident. However, we also believe that there are several factors in this case that the court is overlooking. As we all know, several witnesses were present at the refinery at the time of the accident. The harbor master was showing a patron around the refinery. Mosarika Tudor was making a food delivery and entered the building. And of course, the victim, Justin Way, was obviously present as well. Each and every one of these people had no business being in the refinery that night. In the case of the harbor master and his patron, it would be hardly reasonable for anyone to stop them. You doubt anyone would stand in the way of the Crown Prince. That may be, but Justin Way worked in the Freight Division and should not have been at the scene. I've already verified this with my client. The victim was not authorized to be in the refinery building. And who stopped Justin Way from entering the area unauthorized? Isn't it the defendant's duty to prevent such individuals from entering the building? My client can't be held responsible for Justin's breach of the set protocols. And you surely can't hold my client responsible for someone sabotaging the guardrail. This so-called sabotage is only theoretical until a proper culprit is found. I might be compelled to agree with you, Miss Steelwind. After all, there's no hard evidence that proves the traces of transmutation were left by a specific spell. What kind of mental gymnastics is that? Every part of the guardrail that had traces on it was rusted. They're bending the context of what happened to suit their purposes. Hard evidence means everything here, and the Rod of Mending has been reduced to shards in the vat. Without the complete rod, you can't prove that someone used it to sabotage the guardrail. Regardless, is it not the responsibility of the Dracogen Trading Company to ensure that its employees do not wander into restricted areas? Blaming a potential saboteur puts the cart before the horse. It doesn't just stop with Justin Way either. Why was Musarika Tudor able to enter the building? She doesn't even work for the refinery, yet she was able to waltz into the building without any trouble. Actually, Steelwind does have a point about Rika. Shouldn't something have stopped her from entering that area? You doubt that Dracogen would show that kind of negligence. If that's true, I believe that we should hear from Ms. Tudor directly. Let's hear how easily she gained access to the refinery on the day of the accident. We've already anticipated that. Musarika Tudor is prepared and ready to testify. Very well then. Bailiff, please escort Ms. Tudor to the stand. Ms. Tudor, are you aware of why you've been called here today? Yeah, I heard everything from the gallery. Then you'll have no problem answering the following question. Did you encounter resistance when you entered the refinery the night of the accident? Witness, may I remind you that you are under oath to tell the court everything that you know. Failure to do so is a crime. Oh, no one tried to stop me. Sorry, Tyrion. You have nothing to apologize for, witness. The only one at fault is the Dracogen Trading Company and their negligence. Hey, that's... For the record, please testify in detail about how you entered the refinery that day, Ms. Tudor. Okay. That day, I was looking for Justin in the freight area, but I couldn't find him. I decided to look for him in the refinery's main building. There was some kind of magical door leading into it, but it was unlocked. Nothing really stopped me from entering the refinery building. As the court can clearly see, there were no safeguards preventing the witness from entering that restricted area. The witness clearly stated that there was a magical door leading into the building. This was obviously some sort of security door powered by artificery, which was still unlocked and effectively useless. Damn it. There must be a way to prove that the unlocked door wasn't Dracogen's fault. Mr. Cuthbert, you may begin your cross-examination. By magical door, do you mean that it was a door powered by artificery? Yeah, I have a door like it in my restaurant too, but this one looked a lot more complex. Why would you or Dracogen need magical doors anyway? The one in my cafe magically locks the shop when I close it for the day. I guess the door to the refinery building was for the same thing. But that means that there was a mechanism to keep out unauthorized personnel, which was effectively useless. The witness entered the refinery and encountered zero resistance. Furthermore, the Inquisition has already logged the specs for the door. Magical door. The only entrance to the refinery building is a door with an artificery lock. Magical keys can be used to unlock the door for 5 seconds. After these 5 seconds, the lock automatically closes the door and engages the lock. The lock can only be disabled by Stefanik Dracogen. The door could be physically prevented from closing, but this would trigger an alarm within the refinery security system. Did you use a key to unlock the door, Ms. Tudor? No, I didn't. As you can see from this report, Stefanik Dracogen was the only person capable of disabling the lock. I guess Mr. Dracogen kept the door unlocked during work hours. This means that it's entirely Dracogen's fault that the victim gained access to the building in the first place. Wait, that's not what I meant to... But that is what you implied. Unless you can prove that another person disabled that door. You can't refute that statement. Yet. But you might be able to work with this new information. Regardless, please add that last statement to your testimony, witness. Alright. The specs of the door state that the lock can only be disabled by Stefanik Dracogen. Sorry, but I can't think of any other reason why it would be disabled. I mean, I get it. Sometimes I forget the key to my shop. It becomes a real headache when I get locked out. You suppose that makes sense, but would Dracogen really do something like that? The lock is designed to be disabled only by Dracogen, but perhaps someone did something to bypass that. There we go.
Objection!
Ms. Steelwind, you claim that my client expressed negligence by disabling the door. This is the reason why the security door was unlocked, and why the current witness was able to enter the building. That's correct. Your client's negligence allowed unauthorized persons like Justin Way to gain access to the building. And regardless of any sabotage, Justin Way died because he was in said unauthorized area. And what if I told you that another person may have disabled the door? Not because of laziness, but for more nefarious purposes. What are you talking about? If you recall, the witness entered the refinery building and spotted Justin Way afterward. This means that Justin Way entered the building before her. So that begs the question, how did Justin Way enter the building? The answer is obvious. He entered the same way the witness did, through the unlocked door. Not quite, Ms. Steelwind. Since this trial began, we still haven't answered why Justin Way entered the refinery building in the first place. He entered the refinery building with the intent of robbing my client's personal safe. I already told you, Tyrion! He would never do something like that! You feel a little guilty about insulting a dead man's name like this, but it's the only possibility that makes sense. I'm sorry, Rika, but there are things about Justin that even you didn't know about. The truth is that he was deeply in debt to a crime lord named the Eye Taker, and he was extremely desperate to wipe that debt as soon as he could. Crime lord? I won't ask how you came across this information, Mr. Cuthbert, but what does this have to do with a disabled magical lock? Ms. Steelwind, Justin owned a set of tools that he used for picking mundane and magical locks. The safe that he was planning to rob was located in my client's office within the refinery building. I have witnesses who saw Justin retrieve those tools shortly before the night of the accident. He clearly had a plan to disable any locks that stood between him and that safe. This means that it's entirely possible that Justin disabled the locked refinery door illegally. We're not actually going to bring them in, are we? Yeah, I'm kind of bluffing right now. You basically assaulted one of them. We both assaulted him, Tyrion. She says that as if it absolves her of any guilt. Hold on a minute. You can't just accuse him like that when he can't defend himself. I'm sorry, Rika, but his delinquent friends told me about his plan. He didn't want to rob Dracogen, but he needed the gold to wipe away his debt. If Justin wasn't the one that disabled the lock, that would only leave Dracogen. But there has to be an explanation where neither of them is guilty. She definitely believes in Justin, but a scenario where both Justin and Dracogen are innocent is too optimistic, if not impossible. But it's not as if you are entirely certain of what actually happened that day either. Alright, Rika, you knew Justin better than I did. Let's assume that you're correct. Neither Justin nor Dracogen disabled the locks that day. How did either of you enter the refinery then? Well, someone must have disabled it before then. Wait, let me think through this. Plenty of people could have disabled the locks. Maybe one of the employees got lazy and forcibly broke it. There was also that nobleman who was with Mr. Morrison. He's a mage and he could have used magic to do it. It could have also been one of the maintenance constructs. I saw one working on the machines. Maybe one of them broke the lock. I barely even begin to point out all of the issues with your theories, Miss Tudor. If you recall, the entrance lock can only be disabled by Stefanik Dracogen. Even Mr. Cuthbert's theory makes more sense than your list of suspects. Ugh, she's right. It doesn't matter how many suspects she presents. None of them had the credentials to disable the lock. So why do you feel like there is something else wrong with her testimony? The defense would still like to exercise the right to cross-examine the witness. What a waste of time. While the court agrees with Ms. Steelwind, we also recognize Mr. Cuthbert's right to cross-examination. However, I will not allow the defense to waste the court's time. If nothing substantial is gained from your cross-examination, I will not hesitate to end it early. Understood, Your Honor. Okay. Maintenance constructs. Obviously, Dracogen didn't want to use them. So...
Objection!
Wait, that can't be right, can it? Rika, you said that you saw a maintenance construct inside the refinery building. Are you sure that it was an arcane construct? Yeah, been keeping an eye on them in the Von Sanctus catalogs, but they're not available to the public yet. When you saw this arcane construct, what was it doing? I'm not exactly sure, but it looked like it was doing maintenance on the machines. Maintenance on the machines? But it shouldn't have been there in the first place. What was it doing there? And more importantly, who sent it there? Where are you going with this, Mr. Cuthbert? Arcane constructs only perform the actions that they're ordered to do. A construct at Arcane Refinery would only take orders from their administrator, Stefanik Dracogen. Unless you want to imply that the construct broke the lock on his orders. I agree. A construct owned by my client wouldn't have done that. But arcane constructs are extremely rare and not available to the general public yet. Furthermore, they are only produced and sold by Von Sanctus Industries. Lloyd Von Sanctus personally sold several products to the Dracogen Trading Company. However, when offered the opportunity to purchase his arcane constructs, my client turned him down. What? My client disliked the construct's flawed intelligence. He didn't want them working in the refinery. He turned down Lord Von Sanctus's offer in favor of utilizing human labor. Wait, then why did I see a construct there? Exactly. If my client did not own any constructs, why did the witness see one there? Or to phrase this question differently, who sent that construct there? Who? Why would anyone send an arcane construct into the refinery? First, let's consider the rarity of arcane constructs. They are highly experimental and not available to the public yet. With all of these elements in mind, only one person in the city of Oranax could have done this. Wait! You can't possibly mean... I do, Miss Steelwind. Who sent the arcane construct? Few individuals had access to an arcane construct. And even fewer had the ability to disable the locked door without altering the security system. Of course, it could only be one man. Only one individual could have done everything that I described. Lloyd Von Sanctus, the noble lord of Oranax. You can't be serious! Are you accusing Lord Von Sanctus of illegally sending a construct into the Arcane Refinery? What possible reason would he have to do that? When Rika saw the construct, she said that it was working on the machines. But that construct was sent by Von Sanctus. It didn't actually work for Dracogen. Wait, could that mean... Rika, when you saw that construct in the refinery, was it carrying anything? Yeah, actually. It was carrying a large cylindrical machine, and it looked pretty heavy. Like it would normally need to be held by two people? Yeah, how did you know? It all makes sense now. Von Sanctus has been far too aggressive in pushing these charges. It wasn't because he was desperate to get rid of Dracogen. It was because he needed to cover up what actually happened. Mr. Cuthbert, where are you going with this? You see, Your Honor, the tool that the witness saw this construct carrying wasn't just any tool. It was a rod of mending, an artificery tool that channels transmutation magic. Transmutation magic? As in, magic that could be used to weaken and sabotage parts of the refinery? No, are you seriously accusing? Your Honor, Lloyd Von Sanctus sent a construct into the Arcane Refinery to sabotage it. In other words, Lord Von Sanctus is responsible for that guardrail breaking. That's enough out of you, you upstart commoner. The judge really needs to stop these guys from just barging onto the stand. To be fair, who's going to stop a noble from a pillar family? I've had enough of these blatant accusations. If you want to sling mud at my name, you will do it to me directly. Lord Von Sanctus, I would highly advise against doing this. Please, do you think I'm like that fool Pierce? The defense's theory is laughable, and I have several pieces of evidence that can easily prove my innocence. Oh, he's scared! He has a good poker face, but the eye is telling you that he's a little desperate. Very well, if the defense wishes to accuse you, I see no harm in allowing you to defend yourself. The court would very much like to hear your testimony on the matter. It is possible to order a construct to complete a complex list of tasks, but doing so is ill-advised. I'm sure you observed this with the Nightgrave trial. Constructs are extremely prone to error when completing a long list of tasks. According to the defense, the saboteur stole a rod of mending and used it to sabotage very specific sections of the refinery. I would never trust a construct to discreetly complete such an intricate set of tasks unsupervised. And before you ask, I was miles away from the refinery at the time of the accident. I have several associates who can confirm this alibi. Therefore, I had no way of observing this construct from afar, nor did I have any way to communicate with it. That actually makes a lot of sense. The Nightgrave trial revealed the risks of ordering a construct to commit a crime. But nevertheless, Rika saw a construct at the refinery that day. That's indisputable. He definitely gave the construct a complex list of tasks to sabotage the refinery, and that raises one question. How did he account for the construct's error-prone logic?
Objection!
Von Sanctus, you testified that there was no way for you to observe and communicate with a construct. Am I correct? Yes, I was at that meeting with Steelwind for that entire day. Anyone there could have testified to that fact. I'm not disputing your so-called alibi, but it's not as airtight as you might think. What are you talking about? I was there at that meeting, Mr. Cuthbert. Lord Von Sanctus may have been absent in mind, but he was there physically. Absent in mind, so his attention wasn't focused on the meeting, which means that his attention was somewhere else. I suppose you're correct, Ms. Steelwind, but I still have one question for you, Lord Von Sanctus. And what would that be? Are you able to cast the send message spell? What? Miss Steelwind, your client may have been physically at the meeting, but his attention was somewhere else, wasn't it? He could have used a combination of spells to view the construct during the meeting, and he could have used the send message spell to communicate with it over a large distance. If my claim is truly false, your client should have no trouble disproving it with his spell compendium. Well... Von Sanctus. You appear to be hesitating, Von Sanctus. Can I assume that you do know how to cast send message? If so, that would punch a gigantic hole in your alibi. Steelwind, you were there, weren't you? My attention was fully there. I need her to cover for me. The idea that I was communicating with a construct is absurd. I'm afraid that I can't say that, Lord Von Sanctus. Steelwind? I did find it odd. Your attention appeared to be elsewhere, despite the gravity of our discussion. And I seem to recall you speaking under your breath the entire time. I had always just assumed that you were muttering obscenities. But Mr. Cuthbert's explanation does seem possible. What are you saying? Aren't you obligated to defend me? I am obligated to represent you to the best of my ability. I am not obligated to forge your alibi for you. You little... Lord Von Sanctus, I'm afraid the court needs an answer. Are you able to cast the send message spell? Fine, I admit it, okay? I am able to cast send message. But that still doesn't prove anything. His voice betrays a hint of desperation. You have him right where you want him. Now is our opportunity to deal the final blow. So, why do you feel so uneasy? There are still 2 details that don't sit well with you. When I looked to see what it was, I saw that Justin had tumbled over the guardrail of the walkway. Rika saw Justin fall over the guardrail, even though Von Sanctus sabotaged it. Then please enlighten us, Mr. Cuthbert. How could both of their testimonies possibly be true? Well, I think there's only one possible explanation. Both Ms. Tudor and Mr. Morrison saw someone fall off the walkway. But the person that Ms. Tudor saw and the person that Mr. Morrison saw were 2 different people. The second person that fell into the vat is still unaccounted for. Luckily, you didn't need to prove that this second person existed. But not having an explanation for Astor and Morrison's testimony still irks you. However, even if it's not a clean ending, there's only one way forward. And that's revealing Von Sanctus for the petty saboteur that he is. Why did you hesitate so long to answer my question, Von Sanctus? You know very well I hesitated. Why would I willingly give you evidence? You clearly intend to use it against me. Regardless, this entirely disproves your alibi. You could have communicated with your construct at the meeting. By that logic, I could be the mastermind behind every crime that occurs on Oranax. I may have had the means to commit this crime, but there are plenty of other individuals that could have sent an arcane construct. Von Sanctus, you, of all people, should know that the arcane constructs are not available to the public. When you attempted to sell these constructs to Dracogen, you promised him that he would be the first merchant in Oranax that would own one. Since he refused your offer, that would leave you as the only owner of arcane constructs in Oranax. That's... well, I admit I may not have been that truthful when I made my sales pitch. So, you're saying that you lied to my client. Oh, please. Every good businessman knows how to embellish the truth when making a sale. I've sold constructs to other individuals. The truth is that I've sold these constructs to plenty of other individuals in Oranax. If only, it would be too dangerous to sell it to anyone else. Frankly, Von Sanctus, I find that hard to believe. After the Nightgrave trial, you must have been a lot more fearful about who you sold your contracts to. You only tried to sell your constructs to Dracogen so that you could control him. You wouldn't have done that otherwise. Is that so? Then why don't you prove it? No, Von Sanctus, why don't you prove your statement? Show us any invoice that proves you made a sale to someone in Oranax. Well, who says that the saboteur lived in Oranax when I made the sale? Are you serious? Oranax is a trading hub. Plenty of people come and go from the city. The saboteur could be someone who secretly entered Oranax. Any one of my customers could have secretly entered the city to carry out the sabotage. Not if it's blockaded. Von Sanctus, you might have been right under any other circumstance, but the Kingsguard locked down the city on the day that the accident occurred. No one except for a select few individuals could have left or entered the city. And due to the gravity of the situation, the Kingsguard created profiles of everyone within the city. Why don't we cross-reference the records taken by the Kingsguard with a list of individuals who you've sold constructs to? But I suppose from your reaction, that list would come up empty. So why don't you admit to your crimes, Von Sanctus? Or do I have to drag the evidence into court myself? Wait, drag the evidence into court? Of course, how could I forget? What? Why don't you go ahead and do that, Mr. Cuthbert? Bring in your so-called evidence. I don't know where this confidence is coming from, but we can easily detect the traces of divination and transmutation on the constructs you own. Assuming that construct still exists, that is. Huh! Wait, that's right! If he used a construct to commit a crime like this, he would have definitely disposed of it by now. Even within the blockade, Oranax is a gigantic city. With his resources, he could have hidden it anywhere in the city. It would be a needle hidden within a town of haystacks. We still have the testimony of Mosarika Tudor, and I'm sure many other people saw that construct walking around the refinery. The common folk can hardly be trusted to recognize complex artificery. Without the actual construct, all you have are several unreliable witnesses. Tell me, Lady Steelwood, can I be convicted of such a serious charge with such evidence? No, I suppose not. Damn it. Is he seriously going to get away with this? No, you still have one card up your sleeve. If you could just find out where he disposed of the evidence, you might be able to direct the Inquisition there. Come on, focus on his thoughts, Tyrion. Activate the Empowered Eye. Your undignified glaring will do you no favors. What? Why is it working? The Eye of Horus is a powerful tool, Tyrion, but that's twice now that you've used the Empowered Eye to get out of a corner. If you keep relying on that one trick, you'll never grow as an Eternal. One day, you'll find a witness that the Empowered Eye won't work on. Okay. Ms. Tamora was right. You've been relying on the Empowered Eye too much. From your silence, I assume that you have no way to rebut my claim. I suppose that makes it checkmate, you upstart commoner. Honestly, I can't believe you'd resort to accusing me of manslaughter. What a crass and underhanded tactic. But I suppose I wouldn't expect anything less than from a charlatan than you. Damn it. What the hell are you doing? What? That look on your face, are you seriously giving up? I've seen you get out of plenty of situations like this. So why are you giving up this time? I'm sorry, Celeste, but I can't use my usual strategies. There's no way to find the evidence that we need. Seriously? There's always a way, Tyrion. If your usual strategies aren't working, then you just need to do something different. She's right. You don't need to see directly into his mind to utilize your skills as an attorney. You may not be able to rely on the Eye of Horus this time, but you've always been able to rely on deductive reasoning. Well, it seems that you have no further questions for me, and you clearly don't have a shred of physical evidence to support your claims. I think I'll be taking my leave. I'm not quite done with you yet, Von Sanctus. Honestly, your desperation is almost pitiful. You should really learn to lose with dignity, Mr. Cuthbert. He's the last person you want to hear that from. Calm your mind and focus. You may not be able to read Von Sanctus's mind in the literal sense, but you can still extrapolate his plan and his actions. Let's explore my theory a little more and see for ourselves if there's no physical evidence. If you wanted to use a construct, you would have needed to maintain constant communication. So to prove that this communication occurred, we would need something that connects you to it. Which piece of evidence would connect the murder to Von Sanctus? Send message can normally only target a person, but arcane constructs probably don't count as people for the purposes of that spell. Ah, the shards. What piece of evidence would that leave behind? An arcane construct isn't a person, so you must have used an object attuned to your magic to communicate with it. Ms. Steelwood, if we were able to find that object, would that tie your client to the sabotage? Hypothetically, yes. The Inquisition has divination magic, and they can use it to detect if an object is attuned to a specific mage. Good luck finding such evidence. If I did perform these acts, the remains could be anywhere in Ornax. I'm not so sure about that, Von Sanctus. Let's look at things from your perspective. Why would you do the things that you did that day? Knowing that will point us to where you ultimately hid the construct. Your intention was to sabotage the refinery without anyone finding out what you did. So how would you dispose of the construct and the attuned item? How could Von Sanctus easily destroy the evidence? He needed to hide and or destroy it so that no one would be able to find it. Wait, destroy? You used the vat of volatile liquid. You suppose that makes sense. You found the remnants of the Rod of Mending in there too. But wouldn't that mean that the object is fully dissolved? Exactly! There would be no physical evidence for you to find. That's not necessarily true. You threw the Rod of Mending into the vat, and that didn't fully dissolve. What? The workers neutralized the liquid immediately after Justin fell into the vat. What? Neutralizing that liquid would have rendered it unsalvageable and useless. Doing that would have cost Dracogen a small fortune. Unlike you, Von Sanctus, my client values the lives of his workers over his profits. And because of that, the Inquisition was able to find pieces of bone matter and metal within the vat. Wait, the rod didn't fully dissolve. This means that it was thrown into the vat around the same time that Justin fell into it. You wouldn't have thrown the rod into the vat until after you were done with your sabotage. And if you wanted to destroy the rod, you would have destroyed all of the evidence that you needed to get rid of. What piece of evidence would Von Sanctus also dispose of? Is there anything else that Von Sanctus would have needed to get rid of? The Arcane Construct. You would have also destroyed the Arcane Construct itself. That's ridiculous! Lady Steelwind, why aren't you... I told you before, didn't I? I will defend you to the best of my ability, but I will not fabricate an alibi for you. You must have ordered the construct to throw itself into the vat to hide any traces of your sabotage. A machine resembling a human threw itself into the vat. This means that anyone looking at the walkway would have seen this. That's it! The Arcane Construct was the second person that Aster and Morrison saw fall into the vat. That's why we didn't find organic matter from anyone other than Justin in there. The second body that Aster and Morrison saw was actually an Arcane Construct. How are you? Wait, Rika was sure that she saw Justin fall off of the walkway. After she notified Aster and Morrison, they saw the construct break the guardrail and fall into the vat. Wouldn't that mean that the construct disposed of itself after Justin Way fell off the walkway? Why would you order it to do that? Because it never happened! Your logic is flawed. He's getting stressed out. Maybe you should try using the Empowered Eye. No, you don't need it this time. You're so close to figuring this out. You can feel it. So, think. If he was observing the construct using magic, he must have seen Justin fall. And for some reason, he reacted by sabotaging the guardrail. Why did Von Sanctus sabotage the guardrail? Why would he ignore seeing that happen? Unless he did all of this because he saw Justin fall. It's because you wanted it to look like an accident. Which means that it wasn't actually an accident. Oh, now you're accusing me of intentionally murdering the victim? Why would I ever do that? You said it yourself, my goal was sabotage. Committing murder would have brought unnecessary attention to what I'd done. But those constructs do have a habit of shoving people that are in their way. What if the construct pushed Justin out of the way, causing him to fall over the edge of the guardrail? He's figuring out everything that happened from just a few clues? Hey, I didn't see you there. I was just walk past him. Acknowledged. What? Hey, watch it! Quit shoving me! Wait, whoa! Holy crap! Pull me up! I can't hold on for much longer! You idiot! What are you doing? What? Grab his arm and pull him up. Acknowledged. My hand! What the hell are you doing? Your grip is too tight. Stop that. Acknowledged. Wait, I can still... It may have been unintentional, but either way, you would have been at fault for Justin's death, not my client. And if the construct fell in after Justin, your attuned object must be somewhere in the neutralized liquid. No, it's even better than that. Constructs are made from a specific magical alloy, aren't they? I'm sure that with a few divination spells, we can identify the metal shards from the construct and your arcane focus. Each and every one of those pieces of evidence points directly at you, Von Sanctus. You petulant little upstart. And that's checkmate, Von Sanctus. Why don't you save us all a little time, Von Sanctus? Admit to what you did. And while you're at it, drop your false allegations against my client. I have nothing to admit to, nor do I have anything to apologize for. Of course not. You're completely blameless, right? Do you think you've achieved victory here today? No, dissidents like you and Dracogen are absolutely deluded. Each and every breath you take only throws Wyverngard further into chaos. You talk about these commoners as if they have even a fraction of the power that you have. Lady Steelwind, you need to see reason. They lack awareness of the power they truly have. What? These people have infected you and His Majesty with these idealistic delusions. I implore you, I implore both of you to see reality for what it is. No, Von Sanctus. The true reality is that people like you become threatened when we challenge your power. You all speak about the rights of the individual. You speak as if each and every one of you wouldn't stab each other in the back the moment that it benefited yourselves. You may hate the nobility. You may curse, scream, and blame us for all of your little problems. But the truth is that you need us. You need us to direct and lead you. You need us to maintain the fragile order that holds your peaceful little lives together. Talk about protecting the common folk from themselves. But the truth is that your actions led to the death of an innocent man. That is the only truth that matters. The defense has no further questions for the witness. He is dismissed. Very well. We did it again, Tyrion! And we even caught another murderer in the process. Yeah, we couldn't get the case officially dismissed today, but it's pretty much inevitable with the evidence that we brought in today. Actually, it probably won't even reach that point. I've advised Lord Von Sanctus to drop the suit entirely. Word has already spread regarding the evidence that you brought forward. At this point, prolonging the trial would just harm his public image even more. That's great! Now you can build a case against him for Justin's death. About that, I'll probably be forced to recuse myself from any charges brought against him. What? Why? It's because you represented him in the suit, isn't it? It would be considered a conflict of interest to prosecute him yourself, even though you're probably the only prosecutor that would convict him successfully. You're correct. As the head of one of the Pillar families, he has the justice system dancing in the palm of his hand. He will definitely be quietly and swiftly acquitted. I would have never agreed to represent him if I had known about this. I'm truly sorry. Damn it. He must have had this planned all along. No, is he seriously going to get away with this? I wouldn't be so sure about that. Dracogen. He may be acquitted in the legal sense, but the court of public opinion is a different thing entirely. What do you mean? You brought forward a myriad of evidence against him, and I'm sure everyone in the gallery saw it too. Von Sanctus's power relies on his public image, and you quite handily tore down that facade. He may walk free, but his power and ideals have taken a great blow. But is that seriously all we can do? His actions and recklessness resulted in the death of Justin Way. He should be punished within the letter of the law. You're not wrong, Mr. Cuthbert, but sometimes we must take the victories that we can get. She's probably right, but there's still one thing that's nagging at me. Oh, and what's that? Why was your safe unlocked if nothing was stolen? If Justin had gotten into your safe, he would have taken your gold with him. It wouldn't still be there. Considering that nothing is missing, I'd rather leave it at that. Really? Justin was a good man. I'd rather not taint anyone's memory of him, especially Mosarika's. Right. She was pretty upset about your accusations. Nothing was taken, so no harm was done in that regard. I suppose so. But I can't help but wonder what actually happened. Alright, so that is the end of that episode, and that is the end of tonight. Let's see if there's post-credits. Oh! It just makes no damn sense to me. The kid successfully robbed the guy days ago. No one saw him, no one even suspected him. But then he breaks into the place again? Also, he could put back the stolen gold? Does this make any sense to you, Eris? Perhaps he felt remorse for his actions, Father. Not everyone can betray the people they love so easily. And if that's true, I feel like there's a sense of tragic beauty to it all. If he had never tried to do the right thing, he would have never encountered the construct in the first place. He would have paid his debt and he would have still have his life. It's true what they say. No good deed goes unpunished. It's a shame about the gold, though. I think we've more than made a profit today. I, for one, am happy to have claimed a boatload of tithes today. Alright, so that is the end of Case 3, and I am next going to see you on Saturday night, and we will continue with Case 4. So, in that case, let's see who is streaming right now, and we'll give them a raid. Let's see here. We are going to raid a Mr. Rabbit who is playing RuneScape. By the way, it's only a follower or sub-only chat. He is one of the cast members of an actual play RPG that I like to listen to. It's based on the Fallout universe called Gateway. So anyway, we're going to end things off here for tonight, and I will see you again on Saturday. I hope you all that are in America have a happy Thanksgiving, and until then, this has been Jewelry Jelly with Leo. And until we meet again, may all of your tea times be perfect.